Om Gananam Tvam Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Samashravastamam Yesarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatanashanam Udivisi Prasadanam Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha Om Rishabham Nitashaninam Vishwarupam Madhavyam Sahasatim Varenyam Om Paramam Padam Sashyanti Siddha Diva Chakshusha Atman Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna. Okay, so last time we were talking about we started with Jaimini's Upadesha Sutra, and the first thing we said was that the slokas in Jaimini Sutram were
decoded,
encrypted or encoded.
Yeah.
So for decoding it, we use the Katapayati Varga. Yeah, and as an example, we took your names and how it affected your charts, so on and so forth. And then we went on and discussed how the effect of planets in Samsara, right? So let's continue on that.
I have a question on that.
Yes, please.
So when you say Katapa, like we said Ka is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to 10, we say that is 0. Then again start from 1. That's how we count.
Yeah.
Because Ka, Ta, Cha. Cha is 1. Ta. Then how Ya becomes 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lavasha.
Again, no. Ka, ta, cha, ka, cha, ta, pa. That's all 5, right?
Yeah.
5 each.
Ga.
Yeah, there are 5. Yeah, 5 each.
Yeah.
So, ya should be again 6.
No, it comes in the next. Yeah. So it comes in a different section.
Ka, cha, ta, 5. No, 10. Right. Ta. Papa doesn't know is last word. Papa doesn't know. Papa doesn't know. So, 1. 25 one.
Yeah, 26th one. Yeah.
26th one. This is 26th one, but starts from 1.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't even get the book this time.
Okay.
So, let's see.
The only thing is, ya, again, you start from 1.
Yeah, Lavasha.
I start from 1.
Yeah.
That's what I had. Because you should start from 6, regular form.
Last week when we tried to find Navamsha, did you rectify it?
Yeah.
Because it is supposed to generate when the issue
Yeah. But time almost 1 or 2 minutes different, but time is because I was present in operation. It is again as I was present in operation.
Yeah, so did we went through your son's chart, right?
Right.
Okay, and of course he's very young, and then you can apply the basic principles.
Right.
Now, we can take some other charts just to refresh. Like one chart we can refresh and then go back to the rules. Do you have any chart you have in mind so that we can test this theory?
Is the theory of
Whatever we learned last time.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes.
You can take mine if you want.
Okay.
Start
Okay.
First,
Yeah.
November 11th,
November 11th,
1965,
1965.
8 hours, 7 minutes, PM.
Oh, place?
Modern Day, MARU, TERU. I think we should
So if we just apply, so the date of birth is November 11th, 1965, 27, that is 8/7 in the night. The place of birth is Maru Teru, MARUTERU, India. So you'll get 81 East 44 and 16 North 38. Now, if you look at the Navamsa, you have Scorpio rising, and what are the planets in trines, or at least aspecting the, let's look at the planet in the Lagna. There are no planets in the Lagna.
right.
Okay. Let's look at planets in trines. So what are the planets in trines? You have Saturn and Venus.
Right.
So what should that tell you?
Saturn is hard working.
Hmm.
And then success in any because they are hard working.
Yeah.
Success in any kind of
Yes, it tends to give success. So such person achieves success through hard work, right? What does Venus show?
Venus is a recent government and political leadership interest.
Yes.
And in this case artistic also.
Yes, artistic is also fine.
I used to
Paint. Yeah. Did you go to school? Oh, I'll pass it.
I had lots of interest in
Interior decoration, that will be given by him. That will be given by Venus. That is given by Venus, which you will learn later on. There are a lot of things that Venus indicates. One is, which we will learn later, is such people, Venus, have eye for details.
That's very true.
Eye for meticulous, not in the sense that they are good at critiquing. Like you give them something, they'll find faults. You know, yeah, QA is very good.
Analysis.
Quality control. No, quality control. QC. Analytical comes from Mercury.
And I have Jupiter and Ketu.
There is Kartari.
So
That will also-
is that all the
Yes.
Jupiter, Mercury and Ketu as if they are in Lagna?
E-
Two results as if
True, but I would give more preference to Jupiter and Ketu. Although Moon is there.
Mercury.
Mercury. Jupiter, Mercury, Ketu, yes, all three. But Jupiter is more powerful.
Because it's in
Own sign, yeah. So Jupiter and Ketu should also be considered. Kartari is very important. Kartari, these are normal rules. Kartari and,
But then, see, Jupiter and Mercury is not a malefic here, so
It's not Papa Kartari, it's a Shubha Kartari.
no.
so
See,
it can be said Subhakatri. The Ketu is not
No, I mean,
Navamsha.
Ketu's Navamsa is very beneficial.
Oh,
Ketu Kulasya Unutam will come later. But the thing is, now we are not talking about functional nature.
oh yeah.
So how can you say, nor are we talking about their natural nature. What we are seeing is there a Kartari or not? If so, then the characteristics of the planet will be imparted to the native. That's it.
Okay.
Right?
Ketu Parampara and
Ketu and Jupiter will show Parampara, Jyotish from Parampara and all that. It can also show, Jupiter and Ketu, their combination shows a tradition.
Right.
Okay, so in this way, in a way you can say some connection to a tradition. So Jupiter, so it does show astrology, but
It must be from family because I was the first person
Exactly.
who was learning astrology in my
okay, yeah,
life.
yeah, it what it means is that you learning from a tradition. Yeah, SJC, or it could also mean that even in your own family, there might be some tradition which you could have access to and which you have been taught. So that is also possible. So you see, you have Saturn and Venus in trine. There is a Kartari between Jupiter, Mercury, and Ketu. So Jupiter, as if you go through that and say Jupiter success reads a lot of, such people like to read a lot of books, and but mostly it's like reading about lot of other things, like having knowledge in wide variety of subjects, philosophy, like religion, and so that is. The other thing is you have to see now the aspects. No, it's not like not good or not bad, but what will that impart to the nature? Like for example, Rahu can give a very, for example, if you go through the notes and say Rahu gives knowledge of, that is breaking the boundaries. Next, handling chemicals, research. These are all, whether it is used for positive or negative purposes, you have to go back to the Rashi chart and other charts to see if such a planet is involved in a very disastrous combination. Like I'm sure Einstein was a good researcher, and he might have Rahu very strong in his chart. Unfortunately, Rahu is involved in a Vijaya Yoga, Mars,
Right, yeah.
and that Vijaya Yoga is like a bomb. So all that was put to.
This intelligence research was put into form.
Destruction. Well, it was not as intended, but that's what's the outcome. Like basically, the nuclear bombs and atom bombs. So that way you look at it. But just
Here Rahu is 10th lord here.
no. We are not looking at the lordship.
Aspect only.
Okay.
First, you look at the nature of the planet, what it can give the native.
Okay.
Then we can see later on, we go to the Rashi, the Samsa, and see how it is placed and what yogas it is participating in. But then, till then, you just leave it as it is. Because we're just understanding the basics here.
Okay.
We are not trying to understand what is the 10th Lord, so it will affect work or, just how it will affect. Like, for example, what is the need to go through this exercise? It is one of the most important and valuable tools in understanding a chart. It is so accurate that you can use this blindly. Blindly means in the sense that you have to use common sense and the normal rules of astrology, and that way you can, for example, a person who is very good in business should have a strong influence of Mercury,
Right.
and that you have to see it. Now there are many ways that the strength of Mercury will be visible, and one such is trines to the Navamsa Lagna. The other is Vargotam. If it is Vargotam, then that will also come out as a strength. Like for example, do you have any planets Vargotam? No. But sometimes you find that a certain planet which you are looking for, because you know this person, and he has got a strong patience and works hard and all that, and you've rectified his chart thoroughly, but for some reason you are not able to get that Saturn in trine, nor is it aspecting through Rashi Drishti or anything. So then how will you, but then look for the fact that it could be Vargotam. So that way the effect, yes. Like in last class we analyzed Teshu's chart, and he's got a Vargotam, so that's how it manifests.
And Saturn in fifth house shows stage fright.
Stage fright. Not everybody has to.
Okay, because I have it.
Okay.
That's why when I was rectifying my own chart, I took that one as a
Main.
factor.
Yeah, that is one of the factors. Typically, stage fright is something that most people
They
feel.
want to shy away from the
Yeah, limelight. Like for example, most people have stage fright. Not like everybody can go out and confidently speak in front of everybody. But yeah, and typically what happens is Saturn, whenever it gives any problems, it is one of those things that trouble you during childhood more than anything else. And as time passes, it's not a problem at all. It becomes your strength actually. That's the strange way of study.
Is it after the maturity
Yes.
years?
Typically.
It takes lot of time to...
Typically around the age of 36 that it matures. Nobody teaches lessons in life like Saturn. And if they teach you, you'll never forget it. I guarantee you. I have personal experience. It is like that. And it is quite often the most misunderstood of all the planets, to be very honest, Saturn. And if you go to spiritualists, great spiritualists who are doing tapas and all that, they will, if they are to choose one planet they adore, it would be Saturn. Because it removes the karma from the body. It's like, now is your time to pay for your karma. You have done enough of earning, and then it will touch something, and because you have a Sukshma Sharira. In your Sukshma Sharira, all your karmas are maintained, marked and maintained. It says, okay, now this bad karma you did, it is trying for you to experience the results, and then you will go through some bad time. But the thing is, you are burning your karmas. Yes, I do know of a particular, I read it in a book, very nice book. It's about a very old sadhaka. It's like very old that his age is not so clearly visible. Some say he was 200, 300 years old, but he looked young and all that. And he was a guru of a certain another big sadhaka. And, like this, the other person, like say, let's call him V. People used to go to him, like, let me take blessings from your Guruji, let me take your blessings, let me ask him something and all that. So Mr. V, who was a great spiritualist himself, said, listen, you don't know my Guruji. He is not your average person who will satisfy all your desires. By the time you meet him, you would regret why you met him. I'm telling you, your life will change, and you will come attacking me. So I want a guarantee that you will not do any such thing. And I warn you again, now is the time, please leave. And the people thought, this guy was just scaring and was trying to test them. Said, no, the guy met the senior Guruji. And the senior Guruji was an old fashioned. Seems he was more than 1,000, 2,000 years old. And he still was an old mentality. And he was like very traditionalist in nature. He's saying, oh, you guys are enjoying a lot, why not do some hard work? And then this guy asked him something. He looked at him, said, you have a lot of karmas to repay. Take this and keep it with you. He gave a coin. Because for him, he's a spiritualist. For him, he wants to clean all the bad karmas and go as soon as possible. And for him, he thought that he is helping them by doing this. So as soon as the guy took the coin and kept it in his pocket, that's it. His wife started hitting him, threw him out of the house. He was left alone in the lurch. He came back, he said, why did you do this to me? Why did you take this? I don't want. And then he left, he ran away from there. So then the senior Guruji was very confused. He said, why are they behaving like this? I was only trying to help them. So that's Saturn. Ordinary people like us will always try and misunderstand it. Because we always want to enjoy the good things in life. But that's what's happening. It is good to go through such stories and connect it to the planets. We will never forget it. That's how I do. I pick up a book, I read a lot of biography, yes. And then you connect it. That way you are always learning.
And if you have the chart also in front of you,
Yes.
so you can
Yes.
go to like that.
Right. It's always so interesting.
How do you see that one interested in the biography, people's lives and stuff? And like, is there any way to see knowledge? We say occult knowledge in 8th house.
Right.
But is there any way
Yes.
to figure? Okay.
Incidentally, it's funny that you asked such a question. So basically, what is biography?
Somebody's life,
Yeah, but what life?
real life.
Huh?
Personal life?
Yeah, personal life and real life and all that. But when you say you're going to read a biography of a person, are you looking at the future or the past?
Past.
Past.
History.
History, yeah.
Which planet?
Saturn.
Saturn.
Saturn again.
Yeah. So you know that
Oh, we see. Okay.
history, like if you see in D24 and all, the 9th house of 9th Lord having strong influence of Saturn, such people may be a major in history and all that, bachelors in history. Saturn is a planet of history. Purana. So Saturn once again is the character.
Yeah, no, I have an interest about, I only see or read biographies, so I just want to see where it is.
Yeah.
The Saturn is dominant.
Saturn, you see the influence. And such things are usually the positive side of Saturn. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Vijay has a Vargotam exalted Saturn or something.
I have an exalted, Vargotam are almost like a 6 charts. You know.
Yeah, so that is very strong. That is Devalokam and all that.
But there is one I think Narasimhaji said that only one chart is missing in Vargotam. He was saying there's 7 charts or 6 or something like that.
That's okay, but the thing is, Saturn is strong, and such people, as you are interested in history, such people are interested in yoga. Hatha yoga is all Saturn. Okay. So this is how you read. You basically make it interesting, rather than just going through, oh, it is just another verse. You see how interesting you can make it. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. By association, you tend to remember more. So that is how it's so accurate that it becomes very visible. That you should not in future look at rectification and not use this tricks, these rules. These are very important. Now, let's take your chart.
And last class,
Okay,
last
yeah,
class we
please.
talked about like each Rashi, each house and what they give kind of problems to Rashi.
Yes.
So the Scorpio means water diseases.
Watery diseases and all that. Yeah, reptiles and all that. But here, typically, it's just the Navamsa Lagna. We have not identified what planet is going to trouble her and which Navamsa it is in now.
Okay. So that analysis then done for not just by seeing the house or
No. That is for, like when you've identified using multiple dasas, a planet or a Rashi which gives problem, then use that
oh okay.
in the end.
Can I just ask you a question and then I have,
Oh, sure.
I have this question for a long time.
Sure.
My mom, Lagna Lord,
Yes.
is Maratha.
True.
What does it mean?
Okay. So, in the person's Navamsa chart, the Lagna Lord Mars is in the 7th house and it's in Maranakarak Sthan. So, you want to know what are the effects. First of all, here Ketu is also the Lord. Okay. So, Ketu being in the 12th, so as far as a relationship, marriage is concerned, you tend to give. Okay, that is. So, let's say what is the effect of Mars. Now, first of all, Lagna Lord Mars in the 7th. What will that say? Use standard principles. Lagna Lord in the 7th. Huh? Attached to husband, controlled by the husband. Controlled maybe in a positive way also, like whatever you say, I will do. Guide.
Association.
But what Marana Karakasthana? Key thing to remember is, in the Rashi, when you look at Marana Karakasthana, you use the Lagna as the reference point. Right? So you see Mars is in 7th or Marana Karakasthana, right? True? In the Vargas, in the Amshas, you take the Karya Bhava. No,
No, 10th house, Karya.
7th house.
Oh, 7th.
Navamsa, 7th house is the Karya Bhava. What is Navamsa? Navamsa is relationship, Dasamsa is career, 10th house. Take the 10th house or the Karya Bhava as the reference point and then analyze the Marana Karak Sthana. So, do you know that Venus in Marana Karak Sthana is very bad? Especially, so, what is the Marana Karak Sthana of Venus? 6th house. Sashta Shukra Marana Karak Sthana. Now, in Navamsa, where should Venus be placed for a bad marriage or no marriage at all? In fact, such a position of Venus will never give marriage. Yes. Because 12th house, why 12th house?
Because Venus is exaltation in Pisces.
No, Rashi, Pisces and all this is different.
Okay.
In Navamsha, it is Marana Karak Sthana 6th house from the 7th house. And hence, it becomes from the Lagna, it becomes the 12th house. So, in Navamsha, Venus in the 12th house is very bad.
Even though it's one house.
That it will modify to a certain extent, but it is not desirable. I have seen one chart where the person has Venus in the 12th, same Scorpio Lagna, Venus in 12th. In which case it's a Moola Trikona, never got married. Always had multiple relationships, jumped from one relationship to the other, wanted to get married, never got married. So you see, Venus in the 12th. But the same Venus in the 12th in Rashi, as per Sanjay Rath, if you listen to the Yatri lectures, is very good for marriage. In Rashi, planets in the 12th house strengthen their Karakatva. Like Moon in the 12th house, very affectionate, motherly, all that. Sun in the 12th house, okay, it's in Marana Karak Sthana, but still, it will give good administrative capabilities and so on and so forth. So there is a difference when you see it from the Rashi chart or the Varga, the Amshas. The Amshas take the Karya Bhava, the focus house.
So, it's not that good.
No.
Mars is in condition.
Mars is sometimes, so.
Mars typically, what it will show is, first of all, since we are analyzing Navamsha, you have to see that, okay, you have analyzed the native's chart, but if you take the 7th house, you can analyze the husband, the spouse's chart. Such a thing like Mars and Sun in the 7th house typically show that the spouse will have strong Mars and Sun.
Leo is Mars.
Yeah, Mars in the Lagna. That's an important rule. Either that or his Lagna Lord will be associated with such planets to make it a focus. Okay? And then you can start analyzing just like normal, his profession, the spouse's profession, everything. So that's how Navamsa is to be analyzed. Now we'll take one more chart and then proceed with the other rules. And yes, what is your?
January 28, 67.
1967, Jan 28, 1967.
10:45 morning.
Place?
Pune, India.
I did my engineering in Pune.
Yeah.
Okay. So January 28, 1967, 10:45 a.m. Pune, India. So what is the Navamsa Lagna? I am going to ask you a question. Sagittarius?
No planet.
So look at the planets in Lagna. Any planets in Lagna?
No.
Any planets in the 5th house?
No.
Any planets in the 9th house? Jupiter.
9th is Jupiter.
Jupiter. So what does Jupiter in the 9th house shows? Or Jupiter in trines to Navamsha Lagna? Knowledge, religious, spiritual interest and all that. Now the question is this true? Do you like to read about a lot of things? Okay. What else can we say? Because not only that, you have
There is no Kartari here.
though there is no Kartari, that's fine, but Rahu and Ketu are aspective. So what does Rahu and Ketu give? So Rahu can give, another way to put it very shortly is it's unconventional. Such people can tend to break barriers and all that. Do you tend to be unconventional?
Unconventional.
No. Okay, that's fine because you have because it is possible that you have there is conflicting exactly issues here. One is Jupiter can tend to give the person to be very on a dharmic path and all that within the boundaries and follow the rules and regulations. And on the other hand, you'll have Rahu and Ketu, which tend to go to the opposite direction, break the boundaries. So you can, one of them will dominate. So now the thing is, yes.
When we last thought, we said that Jupiter and Ketu can be more dharmic and traditional.
Yeah.
So because Rahu is counterpart of Ketu, so Rahu influence more Ketu or Jupiter Ketu, like that combination?
Jupiter Ketu. Jupiter Rahu is Guru Chandala Yoga.
No, that's correct. But whenever they both will be in the same axis, Rahu and Ketu.
Ketu.
So wherever it is. So Rahu influences Ketu to not to listen to Jupiter, or Ketu will independently will decide what to do. Because once we thought that Ketu doesn't have brain, doesn't have head.
Head. It's nothing great. It doesn't have a head, so it doesn't aspect. It has no aspects.
No aspect. So in that situation, Jupiter tends to go with Jupiter or with
Typically, the aspect of Jupiter is desirable, in which case it gets a head like Ganesha, Lord Ganesha. Right? Here, the other thing you have to notice is Ketu is in a sign of Jupiter, in a Mula Trikona actually. So it might tend to support Jupiter. Yeah. Whereas Rahu, on the other hand, is like for example.
It's on the 10th house, right?
Yeah.
It's in the West.
Yeah, but Rahu in the 10th is bad for finance.
Yeah, Navamsha.
10th house is for finance. We'll go into that later on. But
So where is the Ketu is the Mula Trikona, you said?
yeah, Ketu is in Pisces, so it becomes a it is Mula Trikona for Ketu.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it is in sign of Jupiter. So typically the nodes will give the results of the Lord. Right? So Ketu will help Jupiter.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
What about Mars, Moon, Saturn combination at 8?
It is in 8th, so you don't have to worry about it. My question is, let's say this Navamsa Lagna is wrong, incorrect. Let's assume. And let's move to Scorpio. So what will happen? What will you say? Because I don't trust this guy. Right? I don't trust you. Because people can say anything they want. They'll say, I am the most greatest person on earth.
Right.
So it doesn't mean you believe and start, I have put all the planets in trying, I'm not trying to say anything, but as an astrologer, you will be faced with such a situation. Because what will happen, see, there is a fine line between the various characteristics. If you tell anything, people will say, yes, I am that. Because they might have done this once. Okay, so just as a precautionary measure, you try and move the Lagna here and there to see if it makes any sense.
Right. Let's start here a little bit.
See, first of all, Mars is Vargotam.
Yeah.
So you will have the influence of Mars on you. Like Mars will make a person maybe good at logic, think logically, hot-headed, getting angry easily. No, no, but the thing is, everybody gets angry, but there are some where it becomes very obvious. So these things have to be taken into consideration. If we move the Lagna to Scorpio, tell me what such a person will be like.
The planet will be, there is a Lagna planet will be Venus.
Right.
So it's a,
Lagna is
Venus cases cycling planets, so it is like Tapasvi.
Right. Tapasvi means very hardworking, dedicated. You can sit on top of a tree and do anything. Like that kind of detachment you will have. Be it hot or you will not say, oh, it's so hot outside, I want to put the AC, then I'll work. No, you'll work irrespective. You don't care. Such will be the effect of Saturn, Venus and Ketu. Are you such kind of a person? Are you?
I'm a hard worker.
Okay. Okay. Are you interested in art or painting or any?
No, that much. But when I was small, I was drawing normal. But then as you go materialistic, as your age goes on.
No, but were you good at drawing, painting? If you were good at painting, did you get any awards, trophies?
Yeah, when I was small in the colleges.
You got. So Venus is in Lagna. This is specifically true. Sanjay Rath also has Venus in Lagna. He got painting prizes and all that. So that makes more sense.
But we rectified this chart before.
Who?
in the class.
Let me re-rectify it. Okay, on what basis did you rectify it?
We rectified using the Dasansha and various other things. Right?
So Dasansha may not change. Dasansha may or may not change.
How much is the time difference you can see?
Yeah. So if you see, Navamsa Lagna, when we move it back by 5 or 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. We move back by 6 minutes. Okay?
And by looking at the marriage also.
So Dasamsa here will change. Anyways, but if you take Scorpio Lagna, then you'll see the effects of, and then you have also Moon and Mercury in trines. It is possible. And then another thing, what I told you, Venus in 12th.
Yeah, not too
Now I'm married, I have 2 kids.
And the marriage is fine,
Yeah.
by God's grace.
Yeah.
So I find it very difficult to believe that you are Sagittarius Lagna.
Venus is in Lagna and 7th Lord is in.
Yeah, you tend to boss over your wife. Means
Yeah.
when I say boss, I mean in a nice way.
Yeah, I'm the authority.
Okay. Another thing, if you take Scorpio Lagna, what comes in the 7th house? Surya. Yeah. Your wife, your very nice wife, will have Surya very strong in Lagna or trines or associated with the Lagna Lord. Huh?
I don't remember. She's a mean learner, that's all I know.
Okay.
Or Rasi.
Yeah, Rashi.
Rashi, maybe Jupiter, Sun will be influencing. Was she born in March? January, okay. So Sun will be in either Sagittarius or Capricorn. Before January 15th?
Yeah. No, January 23rd.
So it has entered Capricorn.
Yeah.
Capricorn. Where is Jupiter?
1970.
1970.
Yeah.
So Jupiter is in Libra. But that's okay. You have Sun there. Sun's influence will show up in her chart.
If the Mars becomes 12th here, that's if you move the Scorpio Lagna.
Right.
So Lagna Lord in 12th.
Right.
So
That's not good.
That's good.
no,
Especially in marriage, you tend to give.
Compromise.
You'll compromise. You will not be an authority to say, I want everything. No, not like that. Tend to give. At the same time, you will have the other person in control. In the sense that you will have control over your spouse. At the same time, you will give also. It's not like control and do this, do that, So,
Ketu in fifth house can give mathematics.
mathematics, intuition, very good at mathematics. See, mathematics, when you do, you need tremendous intuition. Because there are 2 or 3 solutions, you take the right solution. Very good at mathematics. Are you good at math?
Engineering.
Engineering, okay. But you typically will have good interest in mathematics. It's not something that you will go out of your way to, And then, with this chart you have Jupiter in the 10th. Jupiter in the 10th will give good finance in Jupiter Dasa, if you have spaced it or not, I'm not sure. But whenever you'll get Jupiter Dasa, it will be very excellent for your... You get it late. But nevertheless. You don't have any special dasas and all that, right? Yeah, but in general, that is what it shows. In general, that is Scorpio Lagna seems more like it.
And all these, you are saying Mars, Moon, Saturn, everybody has one given.
Yeah.
That will change now.
That will change. It will become entrined. So you tend to have these influences in your life. And that influence can be good or bad. Too many influences can also show confusion. Mercury will show interest in business. Moon will show a fluctuation. You see, Mercury is somebody very logical. Moon is very compassionate. Saturn is very strict. So people might end up seeing your various shades. At the same time, 9, so Moon, Mercury, Saturn, whatever, if you go deep into the chart. I don't want to go deep into the chart, but this is what, to me, when did you get married?
96.
96. Moon.
96 March.
Moon Rahu. Right. Rahu is aspecting in the 7th house. In the 11th house, in Kama Trikona, it is aspecting the 7th house.
And Moon is 9th house, 9th.
That's fine. That's fine. Moon is aspecting the 7th house also. The key thing is, if he got married in Moon Dasa, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Sagittarius Lagna, he wouldn't have gotten married. 8th Lord, in Navamsha specifically, the 8th house, the 8th Lord is the marriage breaker. Marriage breaker. Planets in it basically means you have some past karmas that you have to catch up with. And it is time for you to pay. And the way you pay is through your marriage. The marriage will break up. The only exception is you have Venus in the 8th. Otherwise, nobody will cooperate with Venus to protect the marriage. So, my contention is, had it been Sagittarius Lagna, your marriage would not have survived.
But we saw one chart where 8 houses leaves some obstacles, some kind of problems in the marriage, there were tensions in the marriage. Questions can go on, that marriage can go on.
Provided there are some good aspects. If you see Venus there along with it, it will tend to protect it. Or if the Lord of Lagna or some good planets are there, then these things you should note. Why it was survived. Another important concept is, like when you have planets in the 10th, then you use the weekday order to count to the Lagna to see what effects of planets you will get. Like Jupiter is in the 10th house. Now take the weekday order, Monday. So you start with Jupiter. So 10th house is Thursday, Jupiter. 11th house is Friday. 12th house is Saturday. First house is Sunday. No. It's not like this. It's Rahu Ketu. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Rahu. So Jupiter in the 10th will give the effects of Rahu in Lagna. This is true only for the planets in 10th house. It is given by Gemini later on, which we'll see. Planets in the 10th house in Navamsha will basically give the results of another planet as if it is sitting on the Lagna. And the way you use and the way you see it is by using the weekday order. Basically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Rahu Ketu. So it will be Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu Ketu. So if you take Jupiter is in the 10th house, then go in that weekday order. So Jupiter in the 10th, Venus will be in 11th, Saturn will be in 12th, and you will get the effect of Rahu in Lagna. So then you analyze what will Rahu in Lagna mean. It can mean many things, like interest in research, all that.
Suppose there are more than one.
Then you take all effects of all. And possibly you'll find that the strongest among them will dominate.
Because I have some moon there.
Yeah.
Given me Jupiter there.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
So let's say then you have to do the strongest. Let's say Jupiter and Ketu is in 10th.
Then you see both.
So with the weekday count,
Yes, you see
both
both.
you have to count.
Yeah.
Can you just comment on the Rashi? In the Rashi chart, Rahu is in the second house. Good or bad? In the Rashi.
Well, we don't want to analyze personal charts right now. We just want to learn the technique. But it is very difficult to just analyze Rahu chart. Rahu in second house, it can mean many things. It can mean somebody who can challenge authorities, who can speak live. But it may not be, it is like a standalone sloka. Then there are other factors that modify it. Right? The second lord is strong, and so on and so forth. The benefits aspecting it. Then that person will not be liar.
It can also show who speaks very less.
Less or very diplomatic in speech. Because Rahu shows concealing. In a way, because he is very diplomatic.
What about money resources?
Yeah, everything is fine to like.
Rahu gave Kradam.
Yeah. You have Jupiter in the 10th, that is very good.
No, in Rashi, Jupiter is fair.
No, in Navamsa, you're talking about Navamsa. So we don't want to digress. But, what is his name?
Manoj.
Manoj, yes. So we'll now proceed with our class. Last time also we touched upon the Charakarakas, right? What are and how many Charakarakas are there?
8 Charakarakas and 7.
Okay, go on. So there is 7 Charakaraka scheme and the 8 Charakaraka scheme. So
any 7 Charakarakas we use like the mundane charts.
Mundane charts or for inanimate beings.
Inanimate beings,
Yeah. And the 8 for
human
human beings. And the other thing I said was the Dharakarak and why it is called Dharakarak. So then we also went through certain rules about calculation of Aruda, where I showed you the two sons, Swastha Dara, Sutaste Janma. how you use the decoding mechanism, and you get the important exceptions for the Aruda. You know, the Aruda cannot be in the Lagna or the 7th, then you move 10 houses. We discussed about that. Yeah. I said, I gave two Sanskrit slokas. Swaste Daraha, Sutaste Janma.
Okay, yeah.
And then basically it means move 4 houses and, you know. How many of you actually have the book Jainmani Sutra? Yeah, it is good to. You should. I forgot it, otherwise you could have. The thing is,
So you have the soft copy of the book?
no.
So we can order actually from California. If you want to get it from here.
It used to very big mathematics in lot of calculations.
Lot of calculation, yes. I mean, not just Gemini, all the
astrology is a calculation.
and you're not even, because of Narasimha software, you really you have no idea of what you're talking. Because I remember when I started astrology like 17, 18 years back, I used to do so much calculation. At that time I was interested in Krishnamurti Paddhati and all that. And it took me at least 25, 30 minutes to draw one chart. And that was one Varga and all that. Then I had to do multiple Vargas. And I used to draw, I had drawn at least 500 to 1,000 charts manually. There are trigonometry, all kinds of mathematics involved, logarithm tables, interpolation, extrapolation. And actually the other thing is, we totally ignore astronomy, Siddhanta, as a part of Gola, Ganita and Hora. Yeah, the Ganita is an important part of this branch. Gola is astronomy, Ganita is mathematics, and Hora is the normal. Yeah. So, and typically these Maharshis are well versed in almost everything.
Those days there was nothing, right?
Yeah.
Computer, nobody knew that.
Yeah, but then they were advanced in their field. For computer is like a broken down machine as far as they are concerned, because they were far ahead. They could access the knowledge and wealth of wisdom that you can hardly think about. Like, how could they think about all these 5,000, 10,000 years back, or millions of years back, these things? And that too writing in Sanskrit in a codified form. And the modern day invention like computer is all based on, bounded knowledge. There is a limit to this. Jyotisha is like a sagara, right? It's like an ocean, unbounded. You cannot. That is why in typical modern day knowledge or branch of it is denoted by Mercury, because Mercury is Prithvi Tattva, very solid. It is bounded by form. Whereas Jyotisha is Akasha Tattva, Jupiter. Cannot hold Akash, right? So planets in Samsa. So Mercury makes a good businessman. Mercury also makes a person good at communication, talking, double talk. You basically go through your standard texts like Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra or any of the like Paladipika or Uttara Kalamrita and Saravali, and you see what the characteristics of planets are. Attribute those planets, attribute those characteristics, and you'll definitely see the influence. Okay. Now next is the Sun and Rahu joining Swamsa indicate death due to snake venom. So when you find that such a person is afflicted by a bite of a snake, or then try and see such combination. It is not just, I would just not restrict Rahu to Sarpa or something, in any kind of a reptilian animal. Like you're walking in the night in the forest and suddenly you're hit by a raccoon or those that smelly creature, what?
Yeah.
Skunk. Then these are reptilian and nocturnal creatures. So that is also shown by Rahu. And then he says, if benefics aspect such a combination, this is not going to happen. And typically even if it happens, it will be for a good purpose. Like such people will be toxicologists. What is the definition of toxicologist? Meaning of toxin? Toxicologist is one who handles poison. Right? So such people will usually see the influence of Sun, Rahu, or typically Rahu in them.
So we say Garuda, like somebody has Garuda, like now playing the poisons, like
Right. Why Garuda? Tell me.
this is according to the snake from the Purana.
Right. Garuda is one who controls snakes. Garuda. In fact, all kinds of black magic, abhichara, is basically the Rahuvian influence basically. Because Rahu is the natural Bhadakesha. In Kalapurusha, he is the natural 11th Lord Bhadakesha. Him and Saturn. But Rahu is the more troublemaker.
Is the Dur mantra also created by Rahu?
Yes. Dur mantra.
Somebody
following
is
something.
similar to black magic. Right?
Dur mantra is a very nice way of saying black magic. Okay. See, what happens is, especially when your Bhadakesha has connection with the 6th Lord, Abhichara, black magic is possible. So, Abhichara, for removing all Abhicharas, if you look at a book like Vedic Remedies in Astrology by Sanjay Rath, another good book, you will find a specific remedy. Pray to Garuda. Garuda will remove all effects of black magic. In fact, if you are going to south, or that Srirangam temple has got Garuda, in Tamil Nadu, if you go to Srirangapatnam, there is a nice place, a separate place for Garuda where he is worshipped. Another place where the Sudarshana Chakra is worshipped. It's very nice. So Garuda will help. Okay. Who is Garuda?
Vishnu's,
I know, but is he a dog? Is he a dog?
No, he's a bird.
Eagle.
Eagle.
Bird. Who is the character for bird?
Sun.
Yes. Sun is the character for birds. So see, I'm trying to
Really
connect things and always, this is how it should be
To
done.
remember it also, it makes it easy to remember.
Yes, I mean the person who just called me was Sanjay Prabhakaran, but that is how we discuss. And then we even try and negate each other. Because you have to prove your point, right? So, this makes it very interesting.
but why he said Sun and Rahu? Sun is a soul, right?
See, Sun is the soul, that means the Sun should not be afflicted because the soul is not afflicted. Not like
there is
that.
no death for the soul, right there.
Right, but Sun is a soul only in one aspect. Sun is father also, father dies. So who is it now? Father or soul? Or the father doesn't have
The
soul?
native plane is soul, right? The native chart is death.
But the native chart, Sun is also the father.
The death to who is starting? Sun and Rahu joining.
Death to the native.
This is the native.
Yes.
So how the Sun, at least like Sun and Rahu combination, giving death to the native. Sun is the soul, so it should have been something Lagna or something.
It should be connected. See, we are still looking at the effects of effects on the Swamsa, Lagna.
Okay.
Okay. But you are saying, why did the Sun come in the equation?
Right, yes.
Sun, because it shows the person, and typically Rahu shows the eclipse.
Okay.
And this combination of Sun and Rahu hence shows that the person is involved. If benefic aspect, this is not going to happen. If the aforesaid combination is aspected, the native is a doctor handling. So if a benefic aspect, as I said, it is used for a good purpose. So it could be doctor handling poisonous drug or killing women, toxicologist. Parasara adds that while aspect of benefic increases indicates capability, the dangerous should not be predicted. So you see, it should not be afflicted by malefics. Then it is fine, it can be used for a good purpose. However, if it is affected, then such a person could be in a danger of snake bite. That doesn't mean that everybody with such a combination will end up. Right now, we all live in a city where snake bite is not so common. In ancient days, it was pretty common. So, Desha Kala Patra has to be. So now what happens if Rahu and Sun is in the ascendant or in Navamsha, Swamsha, and Mars aspects it? And he says that such a person is indicates a person who will burn the house of others. What is the term, English term for burning the houses? What are such people called? Arsonists. Arsonists. The English word is arsonist. You'll find in many news arson and looting and right. Such people you should see the chart. They'll have Sun and Rahu aspected by Mars. Now, if you ask me why Sun and Rahu has got to do the same thing, but basically what it means is Sun and Rahu has some capacity for trouble, right? And that Mars aggravates it in the form of fire because it is Agni Tattva. Okay? Now, Venus aspecting such a combination produces a firefighter. But why Venus? Jala Tattva. But why not Moon? Venus is Sheetala, cools down. Right? Now, let's say I'll put a quiz for you. You are sitting at your home in front of your balcony. You're just sitting here talking, and somebody asks a question, and you want to answer them. Okay. Now, quite often you are an astrologer, so you will not use your common sense. I mean, of course, you have to use your common sense, but you use the laws of astrology, right? You will not say, oh, will I get married? Oh, it is time for you to get married. You are 25, 26 years old. Not like that. Well, let's see your dasa and all that. You are using astrology. Now, suddenly what happens is, you'll find that ambulance ping, making noise and going. What will you interpret that Shakun as?
It's not a good step.
Why?
Not species, like somebody is in trouble and
That is true. But basically, it is, we didn't see a dead man or a person in trouble. We basically saw an ambulance going, or there is fire somewhere and the fire ambulance is going. No. Venus aspecting produces a firefighter. So you are seeing that ambulance, that firefighting ambulance, it characterizes Venus. Whereas if you see a corpse car going, that's Mars. So this is Venus. Next time you see a firefighting, who's the character?
he is going to suppress that fire.
Yes.
He is the one going for good cause.
So who's the character? Venus.
And he can control Rahu.
So you think that is auspicious?
Yes? Yes, it
That's
is.
why moon is not there.
Ambulance also.
See, ambulance, depending on what, like for example, if somebody is attacking me, will I be secure? Will I able to answer him? And then if Mars, a cop car goes, zoom. Answer is definitely yes. It depends. then he says that as per the Hindu tradition, Mahalakshmi holds the Agni Stambhana mantra and is always worshipped inside the lamp to protect the house from such evils. So Venus and Lakshmi is clear. Okay? Guru Drishte Twasamit Guhya. That means when Jupiter instead of Venus aspecting such a combination, then the person will set fire to his own house or that of a neighbor. Jupiter just has a tendency to exaggerate things. So, yeah.
Because it's Akash of one.
Yes.
Spreading.
So you see, a positive planet can affect in a negative way, depending on, because all planets do what their intrinsic nature is. If you place them in such a way that their intrinsic nature is causing trouble, then they will cause trouble. Right? In such a case, when a fire is going on, you bring Jupiter, he will just spread it.
Yeah, it's an
Expansive planet. Then don't complain after that.
Interesting, because Sun and Jupiter, they go get along.
That is true. You should see there are various levels of things. Sun and Jupiter may get along in one, but they will be opposite at the other. You see, for example, Sun and Jupiter are great friends, but Sun is Shiva and Jupiter can be some other thing. Then they say, Sun and Jupiter are friends. These deities are different. It's not like that. There is a Karakatva for each and every planet at each and every level. You should not mix level 1 and level 10 together, and it doesn't make any sense. For each and every stage, it has importance. And like for example, Sun is soul, Sun is also father. And Sun represents our soul. And Sun represents our father. So, which one is it? Is it our father or soul of the father? It's different. At one level it shows the soul, Atma. At the other level it shows our father. Another thing, in Sthira Karaka, Venus or the stronger between Venus or Sun represents the father. So now you'll say, but Venus represents wife. We are talking about Sthira Karaka, which shows death and ill health.
Right.
Then in that case, you have to take the stronger of Sun and Venus. Because why? Sun shows the soul, Venus shows the Reta sperm, through which the father passes the seeds. That's how the soul is, and then it gets infused with the soul, and how the kid is born. That is why the Sthira Pitrikarak is either Sun and Venus. So at each and every level, they mean different things.
One question is, these tattvas has always worked uniformly, or we have to interpret differently,
Depending upon the situation. Yeah. Like here, basically the tattva explanation makes more sense.
Right.
Otherwise, if you would say Jupiter is a benefic planet, he's God, why would he go about that?
Non-aggressive planet, how can he
Exactly.
be aggressive?
Yeah. But then you can also see how some people, like for example, yesterday, who is interested in soccer? Yesterday you saw that
I didn't see it.
Italy versus USA. At least
Italy versus USA.
okay, the Italian team scored their first goal, and in the second goal, he tried to kick out, but it went and hit his own goal. So by mistake, he did it accidentally. In the same way, if you put it at the wrong place and wrong time, wrong kick, then it will go as a goal. But whose goal is not guaranteed. If Saturn and Rahu are in Swamsa, the native is either a seller or a consumer of betel leaves, aphrodisiacs. That can also, you can extend to aphrodisiac or one that gives nasha, and or drugs and all that. The moon in the fourth from Swamsa, moon in the fourth produces a sailor, high sailor. What is sailor? What is the connection between a sailor and the moon? Moon. In fact, moon and Venus represent ships. also. So moon. My father is a seafaring person. He's been in the merchant navy for 25, 30 years. He has Venus, moon in the fourth from Namsati. Or at least I made it. The aspect of Venus on the moon in the fourth will surely produce a sailor or a navigator. Vehicles are seen in the fourth house, and a watery planet like moon could indicate ships and boats depending upon its dignity. Oh. So Gulika, you can also use Gulika as a cause of addiction. Consuming poison, or like the poison can also mean narcotics and all that. So Rahu, Saturn, or any of the Gulikas, are these such tamasic planets, tend to make one addicted to narcotics or drugs. Now then he says, moon aspecting or joining Gulika in Swamsa indicates theft or receipt of stolen wealth. Where do you think such a sloka will be useful or applicable?
Receipt of stolen wealth?
Yes.
Suppose somebody is selling that seeds, cars.
That is fine. But when typically this is used in typically it is used in Prashna. People come chor Prashna, like a theft of a particular article, or a person has left missing or something. Then if you see moon aspecting joining Gulika, then you can rest assured. Mercury joining Gulika indicates hydrocele and similar diseases of private parts. So Mercury gives the affliction, health affliction, disease. Whereas moon we saw indicates stolen wealth and all that. Ketu aspecting or conjoining the Swamsa results in perforation of eardrums or other ear ailments. So Ketu can give ear related problems. Ear. Karna.
Can you just see one fact to see, like one person lost his right ear, total complete loss.
Complete loss means hearing also.
Yeah, hearing.
Okay.
Hearing complete loss, nerve damage.
Okay.
So that involves Ketu there.
Right.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Parasar adds that malefic should join or aspect such a combination. So malefic should also look for the influence of malefics.
This is, I know it's a very, maybe not a good question, but when you say the hearing loss, is lost after is a disease or born with it? It doesn't differentiate that way?
He means after born.
After born.
Yeah.
So that means, like aspect means Rashi aspect or any aspect?
Rashi. Graha shows just desire.
Okay. So you have your Ketu aspect you have seen.
No, Ketu, no, not, hold on one sec before we run away. Ketu, it doesn't mean that for every person he will start having problems.
No, I'm generally asking.
And it's not like malefics are aspecting, too many malefics are aspecting his lagna.
Okay, so there is other combination.
And Ketu is in fifth. Ketu was in fifth.
Okay, so there is.
So all other indications combined, then you add this also. Then it will show.
Okay.
You should not just take a Ketu isolated in isolation and say that the person is going to. So Venus conjoining Ketu produces asceticism and religious learning. he may be initiated into a religious order. Both Mercury and Saturn conjoining aspecting Ketu in Swamsa indicates impotency. Why did he say that? See, obviously the influence of Ketu shows something abnormal. That is why Venus in Ketu, the person asceticism. See, Venus will show marriage and all that. But the influence of Ketu makes him deviate. Similarly, the previous one, what was the previous? It just shows eardrum problems. But here, Mercury and Saturn, conjoining aspecting Ketu in Swamsa, indicates impotency. Why?
Saturn is a neutral planet. Saturn is not a male piece or feminine.
Saturn, see, if you look at the gender of the planets, Saturn and Mercury are eunuchs.
Right, you have to follow me. So non-male to
Yes, they are eunuchs. Neutral. Or eunuchs. And it can mean other things also. So one of the things is importance. The other thing is any deviation from normal behavior. Like if you want to see homosexual relationship, then this combination is very helpful. Mercury and Saturn. Because such charts will be plenty.
I expect.
But that doesn't mean that everybody having this will.
Yeah.
There are other factors also. Both Mercury and Venus aspecting Ketu indicates a mimic or a talkative person or one born with maid servant to concubine. That means there is some questionable, either the person, see Mercury and Venus aspecting Ketu, mimicking and talkative is the nature of Mercury. And a person born to maid servant or concubine is some deviation in normal. So that means that's where the Venus comes in, and that the person may kind of be like through an illegitimate way, that kind of thing. Parasara adds that the child will belong to a female remarried, that is native's mother could be married a second time. And here is the definition of Tapasvi Yoga. Saturn aspecting Venus and Ketu in Swamsa produces a Tapasvi, one who undertakes powerful religious penance or a servant. So, now we got the actual definition, sloka. Right? Where Tapasvi. Sani Drishte Tapasvi Prashyeva.
Or someone complete slave.
Yeah, somebody who works.
Surrendering fully.
Yeah.
Unless you surrender to God, you cannot become powerful.
Another is, not to see, Tapasvi doesn't mean God. Like, a person like Einstein may be devoted to technology and atom bomb making, and he would be dedicated to it. Tapasvi is single-pointed determination combined with hard work. And
it may not show.
Exactly. It may or may not show a spiritualist.
Okay.
He is detached when he is working. He has no deviation here or there. That's it. Focus. Saturn alone aspecting Ketu in Swamsa, that is only when Saturn is aspecting Ketu, indicates the native is a fraud in the garb of a sannyasi or something. Because why? What is missing in this combination now?
Demon.
So, that means to analyze Tapasvi Yoga, what do we have to understand is how do the three planets combine their properties to give a tapasvi yoga.
Saturn is hardware, Venus is passion, Ketu is spiritual.
Detachment.
Detachment, right.
So Ketu means the person is not detached to the
Right. But here Saturn alone aspecting with Ketu. So who is missing?
Venus is
That passion, that drive is missing. So he is just wearing all those and shows that he is detached, or he is acting in a detached way, but there is no continued passion or the drive to be detached. Then suddenly he will change, and then he will get married, and then suddenly, all that. Or he'll have relationship with many women and so on. and so on.
becomes pride.
Yeah. But
The
this,
fraud of sannyasi means
Yeah.
whatever qualities of sannyasi is missing.
yes, sannyasi. And now, the next. You see how these small things are very important, interesting, and helps you very well in rectifying charts. If Sun and Venus aspect conjoined Karakamsa, royal assignment is surely indicated. That is commonsensical. Because both Sun and Sun and Venus shows the government or social political worker. So,
now he changed to Karakamsha from Swamsha.
yeah, slowly he moves to Karakamsa, but what he later opines is, basically, you see, from the Karakamsa it shows your desire from the past life. And here, and at the soul level, and from the Lagnamsha it shows whatever has materialized so far. Typically. But they always give preference to Lagnamsha, from Lagna.
So your Karakamsha is Dejan chart,
No,
Lagna and Dejan.
no, Lagna is Navamsha.
Atmakaraka.
No, Karakamsa is not always Atmakaraka. He keeps moving between, he has used the term Karakamsa, but he keeps moving between, sometimes he means the Karaka in Navamsha, sometimes he means the Navamsha in Lagna, Lagna in Navamsha. But typically he means Lagna in Navamsha. Although he may use it interchangeably, which we will see later
Both
on.
are Lagna and
Lagna in Navamsha.
Swamsha or Karakamsha, both are like.
Typically, but Karakamsha typically means Atmakaraka in Navamsha. But when you analyze certain things, this is better seen from Lagna and Navamsha, not Karakamsha. Because if you are working for a government, what has Atmakaraka got to do with it?
It shows maybe he has a desire, but it's not.
Yeah, but then that becomes, there are certain things that you have to see from the Karakamsha. But such things it is better seen from the Lagnamsa. Lagna and Navamsa. If Sun and Venus, okay. Mercury conjoining aspecting the 10th from Swamsa indicates results like Saturn.
The account you said.
Yes. Here is an example. Mercury aspecting conjoining the 10th from Swamsa indicates the results like Saturn. So now use the same logic I explained. The Vara, the weekday order. Mercury is Wednesday. 11th house is Thursday. 12th house is Friday.
And Lagna is
Saturday,
Saturday.
Saturn. So Mercury in the 10th will give the effects of
Saturday. What does it mean? Like Mercury in 10th
means that the person will be hardworking. And then the all traditionalist and all that.
So, like Mercury in 10th analytical,
No. The Mercury in Navamsa Lagna or trines will give that nature.
Right.
What has that got to do in the 10th house? Only thing is, being in the 10th house, it will give the effects of Saturn in Lagna.
The 10th house in Navamsha says karma with respect to dharma.
What?
10th house represents in Navamsha the karma what you do in the society with respect to Navamsha.
No, that is different. That the Artha Trikonas are different in Navamsha.
Okay.
Yeah. A very simple example is, you take, let's say, Lagna is 15 degrees Aries. Okay. If Lagna is 15 degrees Aries, where will it be in Navamsha?
So now, where is going?
See, it is
Third.
each
Third.
no. Each Navamsa is 3 degrees 20 minutes. 3 degrees 20 minutes. Why? Because 30 degrees is 3 degrees 20 minutes. Now, what did we say the degree of the ascendant is?
15.
So, 15 degrees in Aries. So, in Navamsha, all planets in Aries, where will it start from? Why? All planets in Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, the fire trines, will start from Aries. All planets in earthy signs, that is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, will start from Capricorn. Similarly, all airy signs from Libra, all watery signs from Cancer. This is common knowledge. You should know this. So, if it is 15 degrees in Aries, let's start from Aries. 0 to 3 degree 20, where? We'll go to Aries. 3 degrees 20 minutes to 6 degrees 40 minutes, where will it go? No, Taurus. You go regularly. 6 degree 40 to 10 degrees, where will it go? Gemini. 10 to 1320, where? 1320 to 1640, where? So 15 degrees Aries will map to which Navamsa? That's it. Right? So keep that. Lagna goes to Leo. Now, take 15 degrees of Taurus, which is the cusp of the second house. 15 degrees in Taurus, where will it go? Basically, my Virgo. See, we have seen that it comes to the fifth Navamsa. So Taurus is a fixed sign. Fixed sign starts from Capricorn. What is the fifth sign from Capricorn? Taurus. Similarly, but what my point is, so let's say the 15 degrees in Leo, where will it be? Leo. 15 degrees of Sagittarius. Leo. Because it will start from Aries. And it is 15 degrees, so the fifth Navamsa. So if you see all the trines map to the same sign. Similarly, all the Artha Trikona will map to same thing. So that is a correlation between Rashi and Navamsha. Okay, we'll go into that later in next class, where we'll analyze why the quadrants become very important. So when you say the Lagna Navamsha goes to the fifth house, that Leo becomes a Navamsha Lagna. And then all other trines also comes to Leo. So basically the focus of Lagna, all the trines, the Dharma trines, 159, map to the Lagna. Then you'll see all the watery trines, or the 4, 8, 12 trines will map to the fourth house. All the Kama trines, 3, 7, 11, will map to the seventh house. All the Artha trines, 2, 6, 10 will map to the 10th house. Right? So, that is why these quadrants in Navamsha becomes very important. So you see the 2, 6, 10 goes to the 10th house, we'll see in detail. So 2, 6, 10 is Artha, that's why finance in the 10th house in Navamsha. It's not karma of dharma and all that. Just a short, and we'll go into that with the examples next time. See, you get some important clues. So how the Kendras in Navamsha becomes the pillar that support you. And these Kendras should not be affected by bad planets, otherwise your foundation is destroyed. And so eighth lord in one of the strong quadrants will wreck marriage. Marital life is gone.
Eighth lord in seventh, right?
In one of the quadrants.
Any quadrants.
Typically becomes strong. You don't want the eighth lord to be strong in Navamsha. Mercury conjoining, so we saw that. This indicates skill and fame and is good for fortune as well, as Mercury is a natural benefit. Besides, like Saturn, it tends to promote traditional vocation. Saturn is a traditionalist. Anything pertaining to doing tradition, like our ancient, once again ancient, old history, is all Saturn. Beneficial aspect conjunction of on the 10th house produces stable fortune. Why? We know. The 10th house, all the Artha Trikona go there. The benefics, that means good. Malefics will cause problems. Moon, if it is a good strong moon, it is very good. If it is in a bad or weak phase, it will cause fluctuation. Malefics causes fluctuation of income. Parasara adds that benefics joining not only gives stable but also make the native serious, strong and intelligent. Malefics will not only harm the business but also deny filial bliss. Mercury and Venus gives success in trade and career and produce great works. Sun, Moon and Jupiter so relate 10th house will give Raj Yoga. See how another way of Raj Yoga is formed. I will also at this juncture remind you to go through the MP3s from what Sri Sanjay Rath teaches, the Atri classes. It's very, 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 very nice. So just a reminder.
Yeah.
The Sun in the 10th from Karakamsa produces Jupiter, aspected by Jupiter, produces a cowherd or a milkman, or one working with animals in general. Typically, if you look at Saravali or any of these big textbooks, you'll say that the Karaka for cattle is Sun. A individual cattle is a group, a herd together. That's why. Cow is moon. Which planet indicates medicine? Yeah.
Moon.
Why?
Healing, mother.
Okay. Venus also produces healing. Moon, yes. Give me references.
Mother like
True. That is just one.
treatment.
Yeah, but give me scriptural references.
Moon is
In a book called Ravana Samhita, where Lord Shiva teaches Ravana some Odisha Tantra, there he worships Shiva first. And then he describes Shiva as, O great Lord Shiva, who adorns the moon, who is the Lord of medicines on his head. Aushadapati. Then in some other book, I think it was in Phaladipika, moon shows places where medicines are kept. Moon also shows healing. The Karaka and moon, mother, that is one of the main things also. Moon shows mother. Mother is the one who heals. And which is the house of healing? It's the 4th house. And who is the Karaka for 4th house? Moon. Moon and Mercury. Yeah, but typically Venus is also a very good Sanjeevani mantra.
I had somewhere in picture with plants, like
That is possible. Sanjeevani, the herb, it is called Venus. So these are the couple. I try and get these list of references. I have put it on my blog, so I keep writing whenever necessary. I find such interesting things. Moon and Venus joining the 4th from Swamsa, 4 from Swamsa gives palatial residence. Palatial like palace. Like you will often, yeah. You'll see it in like the Princess Diana and all those. You have this Moon and Venus connection. Such connection between Moon and Venus also should have a nice, good amount of wealth. Exalted planets in the 4th house will also give a big residence. If Saturn and Rahu are in the 4th, stones, rocks and such materials will be used in construction. You can use it in Prashna and I doubt if this can be used directly in natal chart and see, otherwise this is used.
Would that if stars, Saturn and Rahu are in the 4th house?
Or stones and rocks.
Saturn is a stability.
Yeah, it's like a big stones and are used in construction, materials used for our house.
Rahu is big.
Mars and Ketu shows clays and bricks. Jupiter in the 4th house indicates house made of wood. So who is the Karaka for wood?
Everything is good.
Who is the Karaka for wood? Jupiter. So that's what you learn. Jupiter in the 4th, if it indicates house is made of wood, so who is the Karaka for wood? Jupiter. Sun in the 4th gives house of thatched straw or grass. As I said, this is typically used in Prashna and all those things. But benefits in the 9th from Swamsa makes one righteous, honest, faithful, devoted to teachers and elders. Typically benefits impart their good qualities. So you'll see that in traditionalists or people who are respectful of the elders, and you'll see basically the 9th house has a good, nice benefit setting there to guide such a person. Malefics associated with the 9th house produce opposite qualities like dishonesty, faithlessness and unrighteousness. Because the 9th house shows one's dharma, right? Yeah. The 9th house shows God, the belief in God and all that. So when such a planet is such a house is afflicted by malefic, then the person will have a tough time, believing God, following the leaders, or following one's guru or listening to them.
But that is nowhere related to honesty. You don't need to be follow the God to be honest.
But what it means is dishonesty can also creep in. Not just that the person is not honest and he doesn't listen to God or something. The person may be listening to God and may be dishonest, whatever. So typically, yeah, then it is good, typically good. Unless it is in a bad house, afflicted, it typically gives some problems either in honesty or basically affect understanding the hand of God or some higher power. Somehow or the other, because personally I have seen in my experience, you find some people will go about saying they are atheists. They don't believe in God and all that. But they are actually one of the nicest people on earth. They tend to help people and, do their dharma very well. But I have a tough time believing in this concept. On the other hand, you'll find many people who are very religious, but they tend to be very judgmental and, you're wrong, I am right, and you should be punished, I am great. So all these things, you have to take it as a pinch of salt. If Saturn and Rahu are in the 9th house, the native betrays elders. Typically, the malefics has to be weak or their worse character to come out. If they're strong, then they'll basically do what they want to do in a nice way. Like they will, if they're the 9th lord, then they will make sure that the 9th house is supported. They'll do, your bhagya will be good and all. They'll do it in a way that they think is right, for example, foreign land and also. But if your Bhagya should be brushed, then that planet is the ninth malefic should be afflicted very badly. If Sun and Jupiter are in the ninth, the native is the confidant of his elders and teachers. That means nice person, trustworthy is a right word. And these are commonsensical. See, general principles concerning the ninth house that deals with dharma or which is inherited from father. Okay. Parasar adds Venus and Mars in the ninth from Karakamsa or Lagnamsa indicates the lover that the lover having illicit relationship with native will die. Mercury and Moon in the ninth will cause imprisonment due to illicit relationship. Jupiter alone in the ninth will indicate excess of passion. So you see, it's a very strange stanza, sloka. See, Mars and Venus will show that lover, that passion, and in such a place that the person whom you love will die. Look at the next. Mercury and Moon will cause illicit relationship. Will cause imprisonment due to illicit relationship. Why illicit relationship?
Mercury, Moon.
Yes.
Because of in the Puranas, why Mercury is
Yes. Exactly. So you see, Moon and Mercury.
they're not
Moon and Mercury is also one of the combination. If like Moon and Mercury in the second Drekana, in quadrants to each other, aspecting each other, shows Sarada Yoga, intelligence at the highest. But there are certain combinations in certain Vargas, Amshas, that, like for example, Moon and Mercury, it's guaranteed combination for prostitution. Very afflicted, like typically in Scorpio. Scorpio is a dirty place, and their moon gets debilitated. Okay, so okay, correct. Venus or Mars in the second house from Swamsa produces passion and illicit relationships. See, Mars and Venus also, more I would say passion. Second from Lagrange. So you see Mars and Venus shows that passion, and the second from from Swamsa. Why second house? Basically, yeah, the second house shows moral fiber, the morality of a person. Another technique is the 12th house shows bed, comforts of the bed. The third house shows parakrama.
Right.
So the third from the 12th shows parakrama in bed. I mean there's
more of male relations.
Yeah, the passion, the level of passion. But typically he has later on said the second house planets in second house from Lagnamsha or Swamsa, they have an effect on one's moral character. So morality is that the second house stands for morals. And Mars and Venus and some other malefic aspecting will give loose morals. Venus or Mars joining aspect in the second house make him passionate till the end of life. We can grade this. Okay. Ketu associating in such a house, second house, destroys the passion. So the aspect of Ketu will break it.
Aspect in 7th house. Aspect also.
I beg your pardon?
7th house aspect.
Ketu doesn't have 7th house. No, it could be either in that house or to Rashi Drishti. Ketu doesn't have, Ketu is headless, right?
So we can't understand.
Drishti is, no, it cannot look at all.
Okay.
No head, no eyes. Yeah, cannot see. Ketu is the natural significator of emancipation and prevents the evil indicated by Venus Mars. Unless it itself is obstructed by Mercury. See, this is another. If that Ketu is affected by Mercury or obstructed by Mercury, then even Ketu can't do it. Jupiter joining aspect in second makes nature excessively passionate and sensuous. This is the same combination where we found in the previous, where we saw that Jupiter aspecting will make him put fire on his own house.
Sun, Rahu, and then.
Yeah, Jupiter. Here, Mars, Venus and Jupiter, it tends to expand it now. Instead of saying that, oh, this person will be nice and all that, in fact it is going to, make it worse. So Ketu is the only solution. And that too, it should not be obstructed by Mercury. Rahu joining aspecting the second house, second causes the native to destroy all his wealth on account of his unbridled passion and licentious nature. Once again, Rahu affecting. See, he's saying Rahu a malefic, aspecting his second. Aspecting the second causes the native to destroy all his wealth. Once again, here he is focusing on the second house. See, the second Artha Trikona. In the earlier, he said benefics in the 10th will give stable fortune. Here, Rahu afflicting the second house causes that problem in wealth. On top of other things like that passion and moral character. See, then he explained Jupiter is expensive by nature. Then the aspect of conjunction of Jupiter will merely expand. Okay? See, Jupiter is expansive by nature, and hence it is applicable. Okay? This is the principle behind the negative Jupiter, which gives diseases like cancer where the cell growth is uncontrolled. Rahu, on the other hand, is diabolical and shows expenditure on low-class women, prostitutes, etc., leading to poverty and grave. Jupiter or Moon in the 7th from Somsa gives a good looking and fair complexion spouse. Now, he has changed for the second and
7. He covered 9.
yeah, see?
He covered extensively 9 times.
Then second, and then now he's going to 7. Now, what did I tell you about the 7th house in Navamsha? Spouse. So planets there will represent the spouse. We'll also have a say on how your spouse will look also. So Jupiter and Moon will show the fair or good looking. Benefics will show good. Malefics may not show good. Mercury shows very beautiful and very young looking. Venus, very attractive. Venus will give attraction. Mercury will give beauty. Mercury provides a symmetry. Mercury is very symmetrical. Balanced. Good figure. All this will be shown by Mercury. Rahu in the 7th brings a widow or a widower. Because Rahu is a character for widow, right? Widower. And hence Rahu in the 7th will show that influence. That is one. Another, it could show foreign influence. Foreigner, or will have Rahu in characteristics. So, like he may have a strong, but other factors, you have to see all other factors, the UL and all that to see whether, if the person and the person who is going to marry the native, is he going to be a widower or not? Widow/widower. Saturn in the 7th brings an older than normally expected person in marriage, or the spouse would be religious or ritualistic or of poor health. All are significators of Saturn. In one case, I had Saturn and Mercury in the 7th. Okay. Mercury is young. So the person was younger too. So Mercury dominated. The spouse was younger to him by 7 years. 3-4 years is normal. Saturn generally indicates an older person, orthodox. But what the funniest part is, going back to the other chart where the native had Navamsha, Saturn and Mercury in the 7th. In the spouse's chart was Leo Lagna with Saturn and Lagna. So Saturn predominated the characteristics, where Mercury took care of the physical and the age difference and all that. Okay. Saturn generally indicates indicates an older person, orthodox to the extent of being dogmatic, follower of rituals, and more one who is ailing. All of these are indicated by Saturn. Mercury indicates a younger spouse. Customs vary both with time and across culture.
Generally, Saturn is opposite to rituals. Saturn is in 9th.
Saturn is in the 9th and in a very bad state, then such a person is. But otherwise, Saturn is a strict traditionalist. I was talking about the story about the senior guru. Strict traditional. No, like he's one of the strict grandfathers. He'll make you sit and do Gayatri Japa, make you do your Hatha Yoga. No excuses. Mars in the 7th indicates a spouse with deformed or defective limbs. It is possible that Mars can show an excessively rash, and hence it can show, defective or deformed. It could be due to accidents or The Sun in the 7th shows the spouse is favored and protected by the family. Parasara opines that Sun indicates a spouse confined to domestic chores, while others opine that she may have a clandestine relationship with an elder member of the family. This last is not acceptable because Sun is unless debilitated, is not malefic for domestic affairs, spouse/children. Another view that spouse will be learned has been found to be true. The nature of Sun, giving. I believe Parasara is right. Unless Sun is really, really afflicted, which is true for most any planet, you should see how it is afflicted, by what planets, then decide. But otherwise Sun, typically as per Parasara, Sun for dharma and all, for marriage he is benefic. In other matters, you have to see which house it is. If he is in Mool Trikona, old house, it should be considered benefic. Otherwise, then he will be a papa. Mercury in the 7th indicates a talented spouse conversant in fine arts, like dancing. If you look at the Pancha Mahapurusha Yoga, it is only Mercury who is being given as one who is the master of yoga. No, not yoga. I mean dancing and all arts. Yeah, arts, interested in arts and dancing. And who has been said that he will be good looking. None of the Pancha, not even Mallavya Mahapurusha, which is ruled by Venus, has that quality. Mercury indicates that beauty. So, conversant in fine arts, dancing, so on and so forth. If the moon is in the 4th house, then now from the 7th house,
Become 4.
4th. Why 4th? He's talking about mating. If moon is in the 4th house, the mating will be in open and uncovered place. See, the 10th house shows the success or where the activity is held. The 10th from the 7th is the 4th or the place. Sun indicates garden, Mars, walls or other such obstructions, Mercury, a park or a playground, Jupiter, a temple, Venus shows a bathroom or a bedroom, Saturn and Rahu indicates a tavern or some dirty place. The principle involved is that the place is in the 10th house from that activity. Okay? Since the previous stanza spoke about the 7th house, the 10th from 7th is 4. And hence when you say moon is Karaka. The place of mating. No, not Karaka. Moon is he says, if moon is in the 4th house in Navamsha, then it shows the person mates in open air. The place of mating is shown by the 4th house. The open airness is shown by moon. Okay. Almost like close to nature. Okay. Like no house, no covering, nothing. Earlier, stanzas indicate illicit relationship in the 2nd house. Thus, the 10th from there, the 11th house from this indicates the place where this mating occurs. So, illicit mating is shown by the 11th house from the Lagnamsha. But proper legitimate mating with one's spouse is 4th. Similarly, while the Swamsa indicates the vocation, the place where this is practiced is the 10th house. 10th house shows the place. Malefics, now then he goes into 3rd house. Malefics in the 3rd indicate courage and valor. That is everything, that is common knowledge. Benefics in the 3rd indicate cowardice. But then, it's not like benefics will give cowardice. That person may not be aggressive. He will do it in his own way. Then malefics in the 3rd and 6th makes one a good farmer and one living through agriculture. A good farmer is because you need a lot of hard work to do that way. So that is, and farming was one of the most ancient of professions, and hence he has been touched upon. But right now, in the modern sense, you may use it for any other. Subsequently, Jainvi says this combination is working for armed forces. Malefics in the 3rd and 6th. Jupiter in the 9th indicates a big landlord or a distinguished personality. Malefics in 3rd produce a warrior or a brave person, while benefics produces a docile person. Well, a docile person means somebody who basically uses more his intelligence than his guts to go and fight. And then such person tend to believe in, what is it called? What is the better part of valor? Running away is better part of valor. I forget the actual word. And so they'll say that, maybe it's not a good time to do it right now. We'll do it diplomatically. That is what benefit means, in a very subtle way. Basically, the 3rd also represents intelligence and indicates the direction of skill of the nativity. Venus is the 3rd from Swamsa, gives artistic skill, while Mercury may produce a writer. Mars will make one capable of carrying firearms and weapons. In this manner, they also indicate brave or otherwise brave person. So you see how he has taken the third house and shows it is through the effort of hands, the skills that the planets in third house will influence the native. So Venus will give artistic, like to paint and brush. The third house also plays an important role. Whereas if you make it Mars or Sun, such person will tend to use firearm. Mercury produces pen, a writer. The sixth has to do with service, and agriculture was the most common means of employment during this. So, how long do we go?
I think we can.
Okay, all right.
So we went through 1.26.
1.2.68. Yeah. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.